Thank you guys for all being here. We're so excited to welcome Christine. She's a storyteller and a master Peloton instructor. She's here to facilitate the Wordshop with all of us tonight. We wanted to give a special thank you to Amy, who is one of our amazing volunteers, for introducing us to Christine and bringing this awesome opportunity to us. And then where's Amy?
I'm right here. Hi guys, it's nice to see you, nice to meet some of you, and I just wanted to wish you well. I met Christine through the bike, and as soon as I started hearing her talk, I was just drawn to her words, and I hope that you enjoy everything that she has to deliver tonight. One of the things that you'll hear when I took one of her workshops was hands on your back, and I immediately thought of all the girls that empower her, because that's really what Kara has built around this community. So enjoy the workshop, and I hope that you find new meaning in the word hands on your back. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for introducing us to her and welcoming her to empower her family. We'll keep the chat open for any comments or questions related to the event or to Christine herself. I now want to welcome Christine, who is live from New York. Thank you, Christine, for being with us tonight. We are so appreciative for your love and support, and we can't wait to do this workshop with you.
Thank you guys so much. It is an honor to have this time with you. And my heart is very touched to have been asked to do this. Please make sure that you have something to write with and something to write on. I will ask you to fill in the chat a few times later on. And so just make sure that you have that ready, whether it's your phone or paper and pen, it doesn't matter. I prefer paper and pen because I'm old school, I guess. And just to give you a little bit of background about me, I grew up wanting to be a ballerina, but I found that my body was built for bike racing. And so the story I thought my life was going to be became a completely different one because I started to take control of my story. And the story I was telling myself and the story of who I was capable of being. It led me to become a competitive cyclist, and just last year, a Masters World Champion, finally. And an instructor at Peloton. But more than those things, I am a storyteller. You are also a storyteller, all of us, every single day. This is Wordshop, and Wordshop is where we workshop the words that we use to tell our stories. So thank you for doing this with me. And I really want to thank you for trying something new and different, because it's always a little bit odd to go into something you have no idea what's coming. So thank you for that vulnerability. And I'd like you to know that there's only one rule for Wordshop, and that rule is to be curious. When we start judging ourselves or others, we block possibilities. So please practice curiosity. And now I have a question for you. Do you talk to yourself? Put your hand up if you talk to yourself. Yeah, right? All day, every day, about all of the things. We have a constant stream of chatter about our checklists, our conflicts, our hopes, our fears, our dreams, our doubts, and that unresolved and seemingly insurmountable sound of grief. There's a lot of noise between our ears that echoes in an empty space. And often this internal noise, this chatter, starts with the words, I am, and finishes with something awful, like, I am lost, I am not enough, I am too much, I am scared, I am mad, I am hurting, I am harming maybe even, I am not doing enough, I am doing too much, I can't do anything more. You can fill in the blanks with a whole lot of I ams. And unwittingly, we listen to all of these words in our heads on autopilot, as though there was no other channel to tune into. So it warrants our attention that this great volume of sound has the potential to steer us off the road, off of our path, unless we take the wheel and begin to choose our words wisely. We spend a great deal of time editing a text message to our friends or our colleagues, or writing and deleting an email to a friend or a love interest. But how much time do we spend crafting the words we say to ourselves? I mean, how many times have you texted someone, it's a challenging conversation, and you know that they can see the 3 dots, right? And, and then you can see their 3 dots. And it makes you take pause. You are spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to say something the correct way so that your words land the way you want them to be heard. But we do not spend this time thinking about how we talk to ourselves. What if we were able to catch ourselves in moments of berating self-talk? Stop, edit, and rewrite that script into liberating self-talk. You see, when it comes to self-talk, I am all about getting right in there, getting my hands dirty with red ink and editing the shit out of my self-talk. And here I want to hand you that proverbial red pen to do battle with words that want to hurt you. Because at the end of the day, what do we all want? We want to be proud. What does that mean? I believe that means to know that you are of value, to know that you belong, that you are free in your expression. It means to be at ease and to be at peace. And in order to achieve this, we must untie the knots and unravel the strings of words that have wound themselves around our hearts, that have bound up our peace and pride, by empowering ourselves to rewrite our story, one word at a time. And while each of you is weathering this storm of loss, this story is not your only story. It shapes part of you, but it does not define you. It is part of who you are, but just as you are evolving, so will your grief story. And with it, the feelings and the struggles and the unexpected moments of lightness, the deep connections that you will forge through your community here. Grief is a landscape with seasons and changes, and you will find a way to walk through it. You are finding a way to walk through it, in part by mindfully choosing how you talk to yourself. Our lives are defined by the words we hear in our heads, the words we write, the words we speak. They become us. They identify us in the eyes of others. They can limit us if we let them, and they can set us free if we choose. So today we're going to take a moment to listen close to what we hear, catch the storylines that hurt us, identify the words in those stories that do not serve us, change the words and write a new story, and workshop our self-talk. Because the most powerful thing anyone can say to us is what we say to ourselves. This workshop is called The Vehicle and the Map. Why are you here? You're here because you have common ground in the shared experience of loss, and there is great healing power in knowing you have a community who understands you and sees you. It is also because you're seeking ways to move forward, to navigate the world ahead with these hands on your back. You are not here to be stuck. And I believe that the only way that we can move forward is to acknowledge where we are right now, without self-judgment, without self-deprecation, but with self-acceptance and kindness and gentleness. Now, you all know how Google Maps and Uber works, right? You enter your destination, but no one can pick you up, and no directions can be generated until you identify where you are. What is the true latitude and longitude of your current state of mind, your state of being? What are the mental and emotional coordinates of your present location? It is only by identifying this place that we can ever hope to get from where we are to where we want to be. But when we lose someone, the landscape of our life changes in their absence. The plates in our earth shift, altering the topography, and all the maps we had and road atlases we had are no longer relevant. There are no discernible or recognizable landmarks or street signs. So if we want to move forward, we need to get our bearings and identify the surroundings, get a sense of the lay of the land so that we can determine how to navigate this place and drive forward. Now, I mentioned Uber picking you up, and while it's nice to be driven somewhere, it is far better to drive yourself in your own vehicle. And that vehicle is your story. It is the story you tell yourself about who you are and who you are capable of being. Now imagine you're in this car. In which seat are you sitting in this vehicle? Are you driving? Are you the passenger? Are you in the back seat? And if you are not driving, who is? Is it grief? I know grief has driven me far and long on many a trip. What kind of driver is grief? Does grief jam on the brakes, stop short and get distracted? How does grief navigate? Does grief pay attention? Do they follow directions? Are they mindful? Do they rush? Is grief a patient driver, or does grief have road rage? Does grief steer you right off the road through the rumble strip? In order to get the vehicle moving in the direction of your choosing, you must be in the driver's seat. So if you're not driving your story, perhaps it's time to have a chat with grief and maybe switch seats. And now that we know who's driving the story, your story, imagine you've packed this car for the journey. And of the things you've packed, have you collected objects that remind you of the one that you lost, that hold meaning for you? And have you boxed them neatly in the trunk? Or are they strewn about? Can you see out the back window over all of the stuff? Is it blocking your view, making your blind spot bigger? Or did you leave things behind? Or were there none to take? The objects that we choose to surround ourselves with hold stories. They hold hopes, they hold memories. And if you cannot access these objects, or they simply do not exist, what might you imagine that you've packed into this vehicle? A class ring, a knick-knack, a quilt, a card, a necklace. What can you hold in your hand or imagine holding in your hand? Or place on a shelf or hang on a wall or see on paper that reminds you that she is with you. Allow yourself this, to imagine Grant yourself permission to envision any object that captures a moment, real or imagined. These things gathered, acquired, and imagined are like totems, like soldier protectors of your heart. Collect them and bring them with you on this journey. Now, while loss has changed the landscape of the world you're driving into, it also changes our internal architecture. Loss carves out a vacancy, like a large empty room in a house. If you have one of these large empty spaces inside of you, where exactly is it inside of you? Where inside the architecture of yourself is her space? Memories reside in many different places in our bodies, perhaps in the bottom left corner of your heart, or in the attic of your mind, or in the kitchen of your stomach, or in the playroom under your ribs. Now, it is not uncommon to avoid this room at all costs. Even though you still live there and still inhabit the space around it, perhaps there is fear that opening the door to that room will hurt too much. Perhaps there is fear that opening that door will result in a loss of gravity. But what if this is the very space to enter? What if this is the place to hear her, to talk to her? Imagine you've arrived at the door with your box of objects. You enter the room, survey the space, and find a perfect spot for you to sit with her. Take your objects and place them around the space encircling you. This is a place where you can go anytime you need to see her, to hear her words, to feel her hands on your back and around your heart. Whether you were born directly of her or adopted by her, you are of her, therefore she is in you, always imprinted on you, throughout you, and while you are your own, you are of her. And whether or not you've even ever heard your mother's voice, she speaks to you in this space clearly. I wonder if you will be willing to imagine this. If you handed your mother a piece of paper with the words "you are" written on it, what might she write to you on that piece of paper? What might your mother say you are? What do you need her to tell you you are? I'd like you to take 1 minute and write down everything you imagine her saying you are. Do not edit, do not judge or second guess. Just write whatever comes for 1 minute. Go ahead. Okay. And now What if you handed her a piece of paper with the words "you can" written on it? What would your mother tell you you can do? Take 1 minute, write down everything you imagine she would say and everything you want her to tell you you can do. Go ahead. Okay. And now what if you handed her a piece of paper with the words "you will" written on it? Please take a minute and write down all the things that your mother knows you will do in your life. Go ahead. And now, what if you handed her a piece of paper with the words "you do" written on it? What might she tell you all of the things are that you do? Go ahead, take a minute. Okay. Now, will you please look back at all of the things that you wrote and choose one thing that you heard. You are one of those sentences that you wrote stands out and has more heat or more weight than the others. Can you please take that one sentence and write it in the chat? Once you have all done this, please choose one of your sentences from "you can," and to choose one of your sentences from "you will" and "you do." And please put them in the chat. I think it is important for you to hear this. You are mine. You are brave. You are so brave. You are worthy of so much love. You are loved. You will survive this. You will always be loved. You are special, my sunshine. You can be my legacy. You are loving. You can be inspirational. You can live your life. You will make a difference. You can change the world. You can be sad. You can always talk to me. You do amazing things. You will be a graceful woman warrior. You will learn to climb. You can talk to me. You will be brave even when you don't think you can. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. You will be brave. You can be it all. You do matter. You do make me smile. You will always make me so proud. You do make me laugh. You will be with me in so many ways. You do everything I wished you'd do. You will be a wonderful mother. I think it is so important for you to read that to yourself and to keep that as a note anytime you need to. And you can rewrite that anytime you need to and have a mother mantra. And now about you. We talked about the new landscape and identifying where you are in order to get where you want to be. So where are you right now? What is the true latitude and longitude of your state of being, the intersection of your mental and emotional and psychological location? Imagine you are letting your mother know where you are. For instance, sometimes I am on the avenue of frustration between Fear Street and Hope Road. Sometimes I am struggling, I am trying, I am failing, I am getting back up, I am weak, I am a work in progress, I am proud, I am on my way, I am all of these things. You are all of these things at the same time. So we're gonna do this again. And I'd like you to take a minute to write without ego, write without judging yourself, write without editing, write like you know that you are safe, to feel everything. Write without stopping. I am for 1 minute. Go ahead. And now that you know where you are, we have to think about what we can do about where we are in order to get where we want to go. So give yourself a fresh piece of paper and write down these words, I can. And I want you to think of I can like you don't need permission. Like you can do anything you want to. You can light a candle, you can take a walk, you can do a handstand if you want to learn how to do a handstand. You're not beholden to anything but the voice in your gut and heart. I want you to think of I can with no boundaries, as though, there may be things that automatically come to mind we can't do because of fear, discomfort, financial obstacles, self-judgment, but I want you to exercising those things for 1 minute, as though there is a map in front of you that has no edges. It is not flat, it goes in all directions. How does it feel to have all that possibility in front of you? Take a minute and write down as many things as you can for 1 minute. Go ahead. Okay. And now you have another sheet on which you write, I will. In order to set the wheels of your story in motion, we have to make some decisions, some declarations, some choices, and decide on something that you will do. It doesn't have to be dramatic, and it doesn't have to be today. So remove that element of pressure, because whenever we say, I will do something, we feel committed, and that is the point. But I want you to remove the pressure point of that, knowing that just the act of writing it down is movement. Getting it out of your gut and into your hand and into the pen and onto the paper is action. It is taking something that could have been a fleeting thought, lost, and turning it into a concrete thing of possibility. It is one conversation, it is one email, one reach, one hug, one thing that you will do at some point about where you are and what you can do in order to get where you want to be. You have 1 minute. Please write freely. Go ahead. Okay. And now we have arrived at I do. Imagine you've arrived at the place where you want to be on the map, that destination, that best version of your life. Your life looks the way you want it to. You identified where you were. You saw possibility in the things that you can do about it. You made declarations and decisions, and now you are here. You've arrived. Let your imagination settle around that. You see, the things that we say to ourselves in the beginning of a journey are very different than the things we say when we have arrived at a place that we want to be. 10 years ago, I might not have said, I do take care of myself. 10 years ago, I might not have said, I do speak my truth and stand my ground. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said, I do have a gold medal, but I imagine all those things. And now those things are true, and I do stay true to myself and stand my ground and speak my truth and have a gold medal. So allow yourself to imagine you are in that place and have the audacity to say all of the things that you do in this place where you want to be. You have a minute. Go ahead. Okay. And now, just like we did earlier, I'd like you to go back to your I am and find the one thing you wrote that has the most heat. Circle that. And go back to your I can and find the one thing that speaks the loudest to you right now. And to your I will, which thing that you wrote is more pressing or more accessible right now? And which of your I do's is the loudest? This is your mantra for the moment. I would be honored if you would write those words in the chat because I want you to hear them back. And you don't have to type the whole thing in one section. You can hit one sentence at a time and hit enter, because when they come in fluttering through each other, we find that our words are the same. Go ahead. I am only going up from here. I am someone to be proud of. I am trying. I am worthy of love. I can ask for help. I can survive this. I am the mother of 2 beautiful girls. I can be me unconditionally. I can take time for myself. I am free. I am going to have better days than others. I will meet my grandkids. I will be proud of myself. I am Marissa Alegria Mitrea Robinson da Silva. That's beautiful. I am free. I can be their person forever. I can be strong. I do pass on your legacy. I will have happy moments. I will find peace. I do so much good for the world. I can ask for help. I can be honest about all of it. I do live unapologetically. I can grow. I will make myself happy. I will practice daily gratitude for all my blessings. I do help. I do make my mom proud and continue her legacy. I will surround myself with people that push me up the mountain. I will do good things. And on we go. I hope that when we get down to it, when we get to the core of it, that in this vulnerability and transparency, that we recognize our sameness, and that this sameness becomes a great root of strength for you. And that by embracing this kind of transparency and curiosity about yourself and your sameness, that we can move into writing the best story about our best lives, of who we are and who we are capable of being. Please take this tool with you. It is yours now. Anytime you need to change your chatter and quiet your heart and mind and hear her, this capsule, this toolbox is in your pocket now. I want you to know that there's a whole lot of people who care so much about you, whose names and faces you may never see, who have sent you a gift certificate to choose a shirt. It sounds funny to say a shirt now from my website that bears words that might help you. Obviously, from this, you understand that words are powerful. When we write them, they have more power. When we say them, they gain even greater weight. And when you wear your words, I like to wear my words, it is a reminder to yourself when you see them in the mirror of how powerful words are. And it triggers a light bulb in a stranger walking down the street who sees those words emblazoned on your chest. That, oh, maybe words are more powerful than I realize. So please enjoy the gift of wearing words that suit you. There's a few different choices there. And know that you have so many hands on your back supporting you as you move forward in writing the best story of your life. Thank you so much for having me. Much love and many hands on your back. I'll leave you now and I'll catch you later.
Thank you so much for everything. And to all the girls, we will send you guys an email with the link to how to get to the shirts. So you will get that probably tomorrow or within the next couple days.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And thank you, Christine, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. You are an inspiration to Me personally, you were my inspiration when I formed Empower Her. You're who I was thinking of 7 years ago. And Christine I didn't have the words to say it, but this is exactly, I guess, this was my opportunity to live my mother's legacy, to make my mom proud, to pay tribute to her. But it was with all of you in mind, and to have opportunities like this for you. So thank you, Christine. You are such a powerful force.
Sorry, I dropped my camera. Sorry. And now it's foggy. I'm sorry, I'm like all foggy. It was my honor, really my honor, to have this time with you. Thank you for spending it with me. I know it is vulnerable, and it's hard stuff, but if we don't, if we avoid something, it gets bigger. And if we look it right in the eye, we can do something with it. Thank you.
Thank you.